Hey, so this is more of a documentation of a thought than an idea. It's a thought related to CRISPR, which is a gene editing technique, and the kind of how this is related to, I guess I was brushing up on my skill sets when it comes to GitHub, which is basically a online repository for storing source code. So while I was doing that, the thought kind of hit me that everything is really information in the end. And as we kind of keep going into the future, we're going to realize that more and more. And so, specifically when it comes to life forms, then CRISPR now gives us the ability to be able to modify what the DNA of any living being can be. So my sense is with increasing computation, as in the ability to be able to like have more computational resources for more people, which means like basically advances in computing and computer sciences, and the continued advancement of techniques like CRISPR and genomics and biotechnology in general and synthetic biology as a part of that. Um, that and I think we could be. I think Craig Winter mentioned this that we could be. I think I'm not sure. I gotta look this up, but I think Craig mentioned that we could be at this. Uh, there could be another Cambrian age, as in like a great explosion of life forms, and I kind of sense that something like that could be very near. Everything is kind of aligning in this respect is aligning towards that fact. So in a near future case, what we would have potentially is anyone having the ability to be able to modify source code for life as they deem fit. And so you got to look at some of the other trends. What else is happening? So I think one of the other bigger trends is the possibility. It's becoming more and more real with the passage of every single day. Is that the frontier will be opened up? And so if the frontier opens up, or when the frontier opens up, then not only will we be making life forms that could be adaptable or will be suited for certain conditions, as in the planetary bodies and how they exist today in the solar system. So it's whether it's planets like Venus when we cool down the temperatures, and Mars as it is right now, or any other surface like Europa or a man-made colony such as a Stanford torus or an O'Neill cylinder, then you'd basically have to make life forms that are suited for these kind of environments, and that's where CRISPR is really going to play a very pivotal role. So not only will we be making plants and potentially other beings, such as bacteria, that are suited for those kind of environments, but we could make an entire we have the capacity to be able to kind of build entire ecosystems around this. So kind of one thing feeds into another, kind of keeps the chain going. Not any different from how the biological cycle kind of functions on Earth. The only difference is the cycle that's on Earth is taking a couple of billion years for it to emerge in the form of evolution, whereas CRISPR allows us the ability to be able to create those kind of systems going forward. So that's, in my mind, this is a pretty significant achievement. Whoever came up with this breakthrough, I think, is quite brilliant to be able to edit strands of DNA so that you can create life forms how you deem it to be purposeful or useful in certain scenarios, and then using a combination of intelligently led kind of evolution versus kind of natural selection, how kind of environment plays a factor in the evolution. So the combination of the both, right? The thought how it hit me was, again, like I don't know if I mentioned this on the video, but I was brushing up on my skills for GitHub, which again is a repository for source code. And there was this one image where somebody's making changes and another person is taking the same source code and making changes. And at some point, the two are going to be evaluated, as in what's the difference, and you're going to be able to see what the output of that code is, so you can download it locally. Sorry about the background noise. uh, um, and then you're going to be able to basically lost my train of thought. You're going to be able to see what those differences are, and the individuals or teams would have the ability to be able to make a decision whether they want to merge it or fork. It's a concept called fork in GitHub. You basically take that code and evolve it into something else. Um, and so that's how the evolution of code, if you want to call it, will happen in GitHub. But you can apply the same principle to something like what I share. So there could be potentially a GitHub for CRISPR in the future, and people would be looking at code for life, as in how do I change this DNA strand, and what does the changing of this gene, what kind of impact does it have on an organism, whatever it may be, a bacteria or a plant or an animal at that. You're trying to grow fish for the waters in Europa, or you're trying to grow plants for some kind of a geodesic dome on Mars, or diatoms for Venus. And we're going to be able to do all this with faster computers, better computing, ability for people, like giving them the tools for them to be able to do this in their own backyards or in their basement. So this was a thought, and I think this is going to be a very exciting time. I can't, I can, I can almost imagine, like, what things are going to be possible a couple of years down the road. I don't think, like, I think for something like this to be mainstream is going to still take, I don't know, 8 to 10 years. Just kind of like how it's taken some time for the web to evolve. Um, Same thing. It's no different for the other technologies that are out there. But it's going to be a pretty exciting time when some of these technologies start going mainstream, and there's going to be such a rich diversity of life form existing on the various planetary bodies, and also man-made bodies and machine-made. All right, these are just my thoughts related to CRISPR and how um, it will evolve to something more, and how, again, everything is really information, and we need better tools or retrofit existing tools to be able to um, make objective, basically use this for our benefit. Thanks.